So I want to really have like a sort of intellectual exploration here on this idea that when someone decides to as they say, go nuts and go on a killing spree or some such thing, or become like a mobster, or any number of other things, go against the mainstream, and they and they make this choice, and then what the heroes come along and do, John Wayne and and all the Bruce Willis, I guess, at least in some movies, and they come along and they say you made a choice, and then because you made that choice, and because you started to harm innocents, innocent people, you clearly deserve whatever happened to you, in retribution or in defense of those people. And this trope, this very idea that, these entities of some kind come out of the ether and they attack just these helpless, innocent, normal, nothing wrong people, who just spend their time all the day. Magnificent Seven is kind of a really good talk about this. I mean, it really does, it does broach some of these issues, but they come and they just take these totally innocent people, and they they just terrorize them, and take all their resources and leave, and what I'm trying to say is, okay, so they made a choice and they did that, and that's great, and that might have been true once upon a time, but now we're in this place where, all around you there are these innocent people, and basically these innocent people dictate your whole entire life, okay? Because everywhere you go, there's, the bus driver, the worker, the store clerk, the grocery store stalker, all the way up to, the real estate agent, the notary public, the juice bar attendant, and all these people, and they're all, connected to each other, through their culture and through their economically, and through having to rub shoulders every day, or and having to have friction between people every day, or in watching TV and thinking about, oh, that's really the life, or this is really what's good and that's really what's good. And how on these TV shows and in these forums online, for example, they're policed, assiduously to make sure no one says anything that disturbs this idea, because that would be impolite to other people to disturb others with ideas that don't belong in these forums, they really put things out there that no one expects and watch them get startled. And if you criticize these things, as a person, if you're in a restaurant, I have a TV on, and it happens to say something you think is really completely lunatic, and I would say that's just so silly because of X, then people, tend to get very uncomfortable, even though, if you affirm it, that's different. If you affirm it, say, you go, brother, then everyone think, that's great, you see? So just this collective this paralysis of fear that comes over people if you genuinely challenge what's around you, because you see, they're all enmeshed in it, and they all have, if there are things they're going to gripe about, they're things that have there's a special safety area. It's like going into a gym. It's like, no, we're not going to fist fight on the streets, but we'll go into this building and step into this square, and then we'll fist fight, you see? It's that kind of thing, it's like, okay, I'm going to vent all my frustrations about this, topic or that topic, and it's safe, you see, and all that. But what I'm trying to say is that, to just assume that people are innocent is a problem. Okay, yeah, sometimes there really are people who I didn't have anything to do with this, but essentially, if you live in the society and you're going to hold people who aren't a part of that society responsible for their conduct, okay, then you need to be held responsible for your conduct in being a part of that society. See, if you're there, you're just working your 9 to 5 job, and then you pay all 19 bills, okay? So, your electric bill, your rent, and your cell phone bill and everything. And then, you're part of the system to the point where, like, you look down on people who don't work but still pay somehow or other, legitimately. Or, you feel like, somehow, like, people who are above you, they're worthy of your disdain because they have opportunities that you'll never have, ergo you can, you've earned a right to hate them because of that. What I'm trying to say is, like, there, if you're going to say, like, someone just came in and started attacking these innocent people, well, how are those people innocent? Okay, I mean, they asserted themselves upon the land, they built buildings, they made laws, they raised armies to assert those laws, they penalized people in their midst who don't live by their laws. Even if those people, like, if they parachuted out of the sky and just landed there as complete strangers, they would be held by those laws, okay? So if they're held by those laws, then what's, to keep me from saying, guess what? I have some laws too, and now I'm holding you accountable for them. And it's like, well, we don't know anything about you. Who are you to come, like, impose your laws on us? And I could turn around and say, exactly, who are you to impose your laws upon me? You see, I'm an existentially real creature. You see, I actually exist. Just because I was born in here didn't mean that I signed some agreement saying I agreed with everything you guys fed me or anything. No, you see, I'm not under any obligation to obey your laws. The only obligation I have is the threat of force you're going to use against me, and if I decide that's okay, then I can't say there's any moral reason not to do what I'm about to do, because you've told me that there isn't one. So, it's very difficult, you see, to really, look at this idea that, yeah, these bad people came and did immoral things to these innocent people. If you're part of a society, you're not innocent, okay? I mean, if you're saying that you're just part of the society and there's no culpability on you whatsoever, then I guess you're saying you're non-existent. You're just a machine or a body, I suppose. I mean, you just, you lug a 5-pound sack of flour from point A to point B. That's what you do. You're not part of a society. You're not part of anything. They give you money, and then you give that money to other people, and then they give you something in exchange for it. Okay, so you're not actually part of a society. You're just someone who's just, exacting, a toll from the environment, I guess, so you can continue to exist. And that's not the same as having principles or goals or ideas that you believe in and are willing to sacrifice something for. And, it's just very interesting to me. And, it's just, maybe it's academic, I guess, but I'm just saying that it's just very difficult then to have this, oh, my heart goes out, because after all, we're all confronted by the same, chaotic forces of nature and the vacuum of space and the cosmos that really is very hostile to us sometimes, Go out into the city in the middle of the night and look in the darkness and feel the oppression of how alone and empty it all is, or go out into a forest. But that can be kind of nice, being in a forest, because there's actually life in a forest. But in the middle of a street, in the middle of an urban area, it can be very, you can have, we didn't have extreme poverty until we had urbanization, okay? Before, you could go off into the forest and maybe you can get something to eat, and stuff. But now, if you're in a forest, you're going to be arrested. But you can be on the streets all you want. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is, like, where are the innocents? I mean, if they're everywhere, there's nowhere else to go to say, well, I don't want to be a part of this. It was nice, but I just want to exit, and live a fulfilling life just elsewhere with no society, I guess, which, of course, we all know is completely possible, right? Then I'm going to be out there, just like Socrates, or something, like, oh, gee, shoot, or like, Spinoza, man is always better off with society than without. And it's such a beautiful idea, it has so much hope and so much faith in humanity. And he didn't know about Nazism or the concentration camps or the death camps, because he was before all that. He was excommunicated by the Jewish faith because of his ideas. Anyway, so I'm just saying that human beings, they aren't very tolerant, and they can't recognize things for what they are. Okay, they can only recognize them by their consensus of what they think they ought to be. Okay, and that's a very different thing. In fact, with individuals we call that neurotic. But so anyway, I'm just trying to say that once again, okay, like if society is creating monsters, then why does it need heroes to defend them?